Yeah, sure. Let's try work culture.
Yeah.
Did we even talk about this in the past? We might have.
I don't think specifically.
I think we mentioned like salarymen going on their crap jobs and just dealing with it.
Yeah.
But actually, I'm gonna start this off with a short short story.
Uh-huh.
I went drinking a couple nights ago, and I was at this karaoke bar, and there was a salaryman that was drunk out of his mind. He was like so drunk. He was still like conscious and speaking though. He just looked tired.
Uh-huh.
And then I was asking him like, so what time? How many beers are you deep? And he's like, I don't know. I've been drinking since noon. It was 9 p.m. I don't know. I've been drinking since noon. And he was so fucked up. And we were talking about like, okay, what do you do for work? And he said he's a公務員, which is like government worker, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, what kind? And then he's like, 生活保護. Like when someone doesn't have a job, the government pays for their basic living needs.
Oh, unemployment relief or whatever, unemployment stuff.
Yeah. He works in that department.
Uh-huh.
And then he just looked miserable. It was a Saturday night, and he's just drunk out of his mind. And then I'm like, dude, quit your job.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I don't want to. And I was like, do you like your job? No, I hate it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, then stop whining. Have a fun time with everyone here.
Yeah.
It's like they don't care to actually do anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of a stereotype, but I went to college here, and you talk to college students about what they're studying. They tell you like what department they're in, not what their major is, not what they're actually learning, but like what sort of group they're part of. That's where the identity comes from, because it's like not actually about what you do. So I was in what was called the Kokusai Kyosei Gakubu, the Department of International Symbiosis. Mm-hmm. I didn't take a single international relations class. Not a single one. I studied like Japanese history, Japanese language, and like Japanese arts and culture and stuff. At a Japanese university. That's not very international.
No.
I was the international part of it.
Right.
There's nothing I learned was international at all, other than what I brought to it. But that's what it's not really about. What you actually do. So you meet people, drunk salaryman, you ask them what do they do for work, tell you what company they work for, what department they're in, but what do they actually do day to day? I don't even think they know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, no, that's a good point, because when I ask people from the U.S., especially university students, mm-hmm. like, oh, what do you major in? He's like, oh, I do, let's say, computer science focusing on AI, blah blah blah. That's a very common answer, right? Or like. Business studying, I actually don't know where I was going with that one, but they say another thing to like specify what they're doing, and they'll oftentimes actually be doing that. Mm-hmm. But that's true. It's like you ask people here, it's like, what's your major or something, and they'll say "bike," which just means the sciences.
Right.
Care to go a little bit deeper?
Yeah. But I mean, you think about a career path, at least like in America. It's like, okay, I study marketing. In school, like I'm in the business department. I studied marketing, and then you're a salesperson. Maybe bounce between a few different companies, work your way up. You get experience, you get higher pay at a better company. Maybe eventually you become a manager at one or whatever, and then you start your own like consulting firm. Later, you own your own labor. You have this skill, this experience, this knowledge, and you can own it and stuff. That's not really how it works here. And it's probably why people don't quit their jobs even if they hate it, because like they don't have any skills.
I think it's how it could work though.
Yeah,
it's completely up to the Japanese people though.
Yeah,
everyone's very very concerned about safety here.
Yeah,
no one wants to take risk. I mean, this is not for everyone, of course. But most people don't want to take risks, and they would never quit their job. Yeah. Even if they don't have a family. Like, if you have a family, I can kind of understand. Right. It's like you need to provide for them, but you're single. You hate your job. Go and do something else.
But I mean, you think about the sort of the shuzoku katsudo, the job hunting activities people do in college, third, fourth year. Don't really go to class. They just do all these interviews. Those companies aren't looking for people that are the best at a specific skill. They want someone that sort of fits in and maybe has relationships. If you're in the kendo club at the university. Mm-hmm. Maybe the person hiring you was also in the kendo club at that university. That's how you're getting into that company.
Yeah.
And so it's like you can't enter that when you're 35.
Yep.
You know, and then like you're not a part. You haven't been indoctrinated into the company culture, so you know, they want people to be loyal and not have any sort of ambition and skill or whatever. And then you get promoted based on seniority. You work at every department. You moved around different places. Even if you are the worst at communicating, you will be in the sales department.
Yeah.
Sales, because you need to be a company man. And there's a little bit of a cliche here all about stuff like that, but I mean, I had a part-time job when I was in college here, and I was in an office, and none of it made any sense. Why is this person the manager at this department, and why is this person the manager here? I was in the English department. The person that was the manager of the English department didn't speak English. And then there was an American guy. They made him a floor manager where he had to speak Japanese with people all the time. He spoke good Japanese, but he learned it to do that job because they moved him to that apartment. Before he had that job, he didn't speak Japanese. So they made, you know, doesn't make any sense. He should have been the manager of our department, but it, you know, so it was yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, and then you know, there's all this sort of pressure to do overtime and stuff like that. But like, what are you actually doing during that overtime?
Pretty much nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, the pressure of it is real though, because
social pressure. Yeah.
Yeah, the social pressure is real, even though they don't actually say the words to pressure you. Because I was, you know, most of my jobs I've had were in the U.S. except this tour guiding thing for I think 2 years now. But tour guiding is barely a job because you don't work for someone really.
Yeah.
It's like you learn how to do it and then you do it. But I got a job at a hotel. I quit in 4 days. But even with that and having the mindset of the American of like, oh, I'm not going to let these things affect me.
Yeah.
The structure that everyone creates, it's not just the boss.
Right.
Really makes it towards like you need to act proper in front of the boss.
Right.
And listen and just kind of go along.
Mm-hmm.
And since everyone else is already doing that.
Yeah.
And then I don't even know if this is like a skill that the bosses develop or something, where it's like the way they say it to you make it so that you don't feel welcome to say anything.
Right.
And I didn't realize that until I actually did it. And well, that wasn't the main reason I quit, but that was one of the reasons.
Yeah.
That I'm just like, no, I'm fine without it. So I'm not gonna deal with it.
Yeah, but I mean, I think, you know, going back to that sort of like your identity is tied to that sort of group you're a part of, you know, your university or your department or your company or whatever. You know, if you're one of those salaried full-time employees, like, that's who you are. You know, so all that sort of social, I mean, that's what's real. You know, there's a lot of people that maybe never have the opportunity to develop that sort of sense of self and ambition. And if you do have a sense of self and ambition, the Japanese office is probably not right for you. Maybe if you're working at like Rakuten or like Uniqlo or something, like these bigger, more international companies. But in my experience here, there's still that kind of old school company man sort of like loyalty culture.
I think Rakuten is still a very Japanese company though, in that sense. I think the more Western companies are going to be, well, of course, actual Western companies being here, but software companies too.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that are here, foreigners that are here for software engineering, and they seem to have it pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, okay, yeah, their wages are about what you'd expect in Japan, but they're allowed to have side hustles. Most companies don't allow that. Remote work as well. I think that's like the closest you'll get to the West style of working in Japan.
And you're paid for your skill, being able to be a software engineer as opposed to being a company man.
Yeah, exactly. But it's based on the law why they make everyone do everything. It's because the companies can't fire people very easily, but they can very easily move them to a new department.
Yeah.
And so once they become useless in one department, they'll send them to another one where they'll be even less use or even more useless.
And then, you know, maybe you send them to a department where they'll hate everybody, not get along with everybody, and be really bad at the job. So maybe they'll quit and you don't have to fire them.
Yeah, exactly. Or they'll give them like just this very menial work.
Yeah.
Almost give them no work. It's still like illegal, I think. It's the power harassment.
Yeah.
I actually have a whole thing about this, but
yeah.
They try.
Yeah.
I mean, I always think though, if this happened in the U.S., that law would disappear instantly.
Right.
Because they would just do nothing.
Right.
They would literally sit there
Uh-huh.
and watch movies, and they would be fine with it,
Mhm.
and it would become a whole problem.
Yeah. But you know, with the social pressure attached to it, you know, I think stuff like that probably doesn't happen as much here. I mean, I remember one day going into the office and not having anything to do. I didn't have anything to do, but I had to be there that day because in my contract I was supposed to work on that day.
Yep.
So I just showed up to work and didn't have anything to do, so I'm like slouching in the office there, just like practicing my Japanese with people in the office.
Right.
And the manager walked up, put his hand on my shoulder, and whispered to me, "Look like you're working, please." He
Right.
didn't tell me to do anything. You know, didn't give me work to do. He just said, "Look like you're working."
Yeah. Yeah. And you wonder why Japan's economy is going
Yeah.
down. I think we're gonna be beat by India soon.
Uh-huh.
It's.
I
wonder why.
Yeah. Probably already is. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we're 4th right now.
Okay.
But yeah, India's 5th.
Yeah.
We got beat by Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah.